When you think of cholos or cholas, you might think of tattoos, pencil-thin eyebrows, or maybe Flocka from Orange is the New Black. What up, Flocka? But have you ever wondered where the word cholo even comes from? Here's a hint, it's really old. There are a lot of words floating around to describe Mexican Americans these days. Hispanics, Chicanos, Latinx, you get the picture. Now, not all of the words are nice or even accurate, but all of them have their own history. Cholo is one many of us know from pop culture, but this word predates your culturally insensitive Halloween costume by a long shot. My friend Veronica Garza is here to help us break it all the way down.
That's right, Francesca. I'm going to take you all the way back in the day before Europeans showed up in Latin America and before Lean Like a Cholo hit the charts, and before this guy played a cholo in every movie. Anyway, the origin of the word cholo is complicated and its meaning differs across Latin America. But when it comes to cholo in the US, it probably stems from xoloitzcuintli, which is a word in Nahuatl, the language of my people, the Aztecs. Xoloitzcuintli, or Cholo for short, is not just a word that will royally screw you over in a spelling bee. It's a word that refers to a dog that is native to Latin America. No, not the Chihuahua, it's this guy. The Aztecs believed this hairless little guy guided people to the underworld after death. Pero, as has often been the case in world history, when Europeans show up for gold and spices, things quickly got racist. See, when the Spanish showed up, they created a racial caste system where indigenous people were at the bottom and Spaniards were at the top. And because they were so creative, the criollo, or people of Spanish descent, used the word cholo to describe indigenous and mixed indigenous people as being like dogs. Of all the times to not have a chancla. Now fast forward to the United States, where the Spanish caste system was done away with and the mixed race immigrants of Mexico were met with open arms and no one ever compared them to animals ever again. I'm kidding, it got more racist. Anyway, in the 1940s, Chicanos, or people of Mexican descent living in the US, were known as pachucos. They mostly lived in East LA and were known for wearing zoot suits. Looking sharp, homie. Alright, now let's talk about las mujeres. Pachuca women were known for breaking the mold of the good wife that was all over the place in wartime America. They formed girl gangs, sometimes wore zoot suits, and rocked huge bouffant hairstyles. That's a lot of hairspray. It's important to remember that this was a time where America was fighting in World War II, and it was seen as patriotic to conform to gender roles and, of course, to be white. Uncle Sam wants you to be white. Chicanos and other people of color used fashion to protest forced assimilation into American culture, daring to take up space with extravagant garments at a time when poor people were being made to ration their clothing for the war effort and when white people basically wanted them to disappear. But this came at a price. In 1943, a bunch of cops in LA decided to spend their free time targeting and brawling with young pachucos and participants of zoot suit culture. This led to the zoot suit riots, which were a pivotal point for the pachucos and what would later become cholo culture. Yeah. Even a riot can't stop us from looking good. Fast forward to the 50s and 60s, and here come the Cholos, the children of Pachuco zoot suit culture with a new look and a whole lot of attitude. Basically, the Cholos drew from their surroundings and represented their experiences on their bodies. They were influenced by gang culture, jail attire, and working-class migrant clothes. The real lives of la gente. We're talking bandanas, dickies, flannel shirts, and big hoops. Big hoop earrings. Never leave home without them. Just like their predecessors, these folks were styling on a budget, but they brought a more street aesthetic and rocked more tattoos and eyeliner. They were also associated with lowriders, customized muscle cars that cruise through the barrio todo bajito y suavecito instead of fast and furious. Cholo culture and lowrider culture represent a lot of the same goals. In 1976, journalist Ted West wrote that lowriders expressed the refusal of a young Chicano American to be anglicized. There has never been a clear case of the automobile being used as an ethnic statement. What up, Batmobile? When we connect the dots, Cholo culture represents a long history of resistance to colonization and cultural assimilation. It's more than just a look, it's an attitude and a movement. These days, I know it's cool to dress up like a Cholo or a Chola, even if you have no idea what it represents, Gwen Stefani. And Cholo was a word that was meant to insult us, but has been transformed into a look, attitude, and culture based on our experiences with marginalization. So don't be a Columbus. Tú sabes?
Thanks for the history lesson, Veronica. Who knew the word cholo went all the way back to the Aztecs? And who could have guessed that Gwen Stefani would take something from a culture that isn't hers? The more you know, am I right? Special thanks to Veronica Garza for helping us out, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Decoded.